My name is Isabel. I'm 35 years old, and until recently, I thought I understood what trust looked like. She texted, I'm crashing at my coworker's place. Her partner is totally fine with it. I replied, then this should be fine too. I sent one screenshot to a number she didn't expect. By sunrise, my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. I've been in a relationship for 3 years, and I just learned that sometimes the person you trust most is the one running the most elaborate con. My boyfriend and I met at a friend's wedding. I was a bridesmaid. He was a groomsman. We spent the entire reception talking about everything from terrible reality TV to our shared obsession with true crime podcasts. We exchanged numbers, went on our first date 2 days later, and pretty much didn't stop seeing each other after that. He was 33 when we met, worked in operations for a logistics company, and had this calm, grounding presence that made everything feel steady. The first 2 years were solid. We didn't live together by choice. Both of us valued having our own space, but we stayed at each other's places regularly. He had a nice apartment closer to his office. I had a house about 20 minutes away. It worked. We talked about eventually moving in together. Maybe next year, maybe the year after. No rush. Then, about 7 months ago, his company hired someone new. He mentioned her casually at first, just another coworker brought in to help with a major project he was managing. Over the next few weeks, her name came up more frequently. They were working late together. They'd grab dinner after long days. They had inside jokes about their demanding boss. I didn't think much of it initially. He'd always been friendly with coworkers, had work friends he'd occasionally meet for drinks. This seemed like more of the same. But then the dynamic shifted. He started texting her in front of me, not hiding it, just casually messaging while we watched TV or had dinner. When I'd glance over, the messages seemed normal enough. Work stuff mixed with friendly banter. He'd laugh at something she sent and show me, like he wanted me in on the joke too. She's hilarious, he'd say. You'd like her. I'd nod, not really caring either way. Around month 3 of them working together, he told me she'd invited him to a concert, some band I'd never heard of, on a Friday night. Do you want to come? He asked. Not really my thing. You should go have fun. He went, texted me throughout the night, sent pictures of the venue, told me about the opening act. It all seemed totally normal. The concerts became a regular thing. Apparently, they had similar music taste. Then it was art gallery openings, pop-up food markets, brewery tours. Always things I wasn't particularly interested in. Always things he invited me to, but seemed relieved when I declined. I'm glad you're not the jealous type, he said once after I encouraged him to go to some event with her. A lot of women would be weird about this. I shrugged. You're allowed to have friends. I trust you. And I did, completely. He'd never given me a reason not to. But about 4 months in, I started noticing smaller things. He was on his phone more, angled away from me slightly when typing, not obviously hiding it, just positioned differently. He'd get texts late at night and respond immediately, whereas my messages sometimes went hours without reply. When I mentioned we hadn't spent much time together lately, he got defensive. I see you all the time. We literally had dinner 3 nights ago. Yeah, but you were on your phone most of the night. I was dealing with work stuff. You know this project is demanding. Is it work stuff or is it her? His expression hardened. Are you seriously going to start being jealous now after 3 years? I'm not jealous. I'm just saying we used to be more present with each other. Maybe you're the one who's been distant. Did you consider that? The conversation went nowhere. We dropped it, moved on, pretended everything was fine. Then 2 weeks ago, on a Thursday evening, I got a text from him around 9 p.m. Working super late tonight, probably going to crash at my coworker's place since it's closer to the office. Her partner is totally fine with it. I stared at that message for a solid minute. Her partner. Not her girlfriend, not her wife, her partner. Deliberately vague enough that it could mean anything. I replied, which coworker? He knew exactly which one I meant, but he played dumb. The one I've been working with on this project. I've mentioned her before, and her partner is okay with my boyfriend sleeping over. It's not like that. I'll take the couch. We're both exhausted and have an early meeting. It doesn't make sense for me to drive 40 minutes home just to turn around and come back in 5 hours. Logically, it made sense. Practically, it was reasonable. But something felt off. I wrote back, okay, just seems sudden. Don't make this weird. It's just practical. There it was. The accusation disguised as reassurance. Don't make this weird. Putting the burden on me to be cool, to be understanding, to not question something that absolutely deserved questions. I replied, I'm not. Do what you need to do. He didn't respond after that. I couldn't sleep that night. Kept checking my phone, hoping for a good night text that never came. By 3 a.m., I was wide awake, sitting in my kitchen, replaying every conversation we'd had over the past few months. The next morning, he texted, "Morning, heading straight to work from here. Talk later." Sure. That was it. No details, no acknowledgement of how strange the situation was. I spent that Friday distracted and irritable. We'd had plans for Saturday dinner at a place we'd been wanting to try. When I texted asking what time I should pick him up, he said he needed to reschedule. Something came up. Can we do next weekend instead? What came up? Just some personal stuff I need to handle with her. Stop. You're being paranoid. I wasn't being paranoid. I was paying attention. There's a difference. Saturday afternoon, I was scrolling through social media, something I rarely did, and stumbled across her profile. I'd never looked her up before, never felt the need to. Her privacy settings were loose, posts visible to everyone. I scrolled through recent photos. There he was. Multiple photos. The concert from months ago, but also recent pictures I hadn't known about. A hiking trip from 2 weeks prior that he'd told me was a solo thing to clear his head. A dinner he'd said was a work function, but looked decidedly casual and intimate. Comments from friends on her posts like, "You two are so cute together," and "When's the wedding?" with laughing emojis. My stomach dropped. I kept scrolling. Found a post from that Thursday night, posted Friday morning. A photo of her living room, 2 wine glasses on the coffee table, a caption that read, "Best late night conversations with the best company." He liked the post, commented a wine glass emoji. I screenshotted everything. The photos, the comments, the timeline that didn't match what he'd told me. Then I looked at her profile more carefully. Relationship status, single, always had been. According to her archive posts, there was no partner. There never had been. I sat with that information for the rest of Saturday. Didn't confront him. Didn't say anything. Just watched as he texted me casually about his day, about how tired he was, and how he was staying in, about how he missed me, and we'd definitely do dinner next weekend. Every message felt like a knife. Sunday morning, he texted, "Hey, might crash at her place again tonight. We're doing a work session today, and it'll probably run late." I replied, "Then this should be fine too." I opened the screenshots I'd taken, selected the most damning ones. The hiking photo he'd said was solo, the dinner that was supposed to be work-related, the best company post from Thursday night, the comments calling them cute, her relationship status showing single. Then I went to his social media, found his mother's profile from a tagged family photo, and sent her a message request with all the screenshots attached. "Thought you should know what your son's been up to. He told me he was staying at a coworker's place because her partner approved. Turns out there is no partner. These are just some of the things he's been hiding." I sent it at 11 a.m., then I turned off my phone. I turned it back on at 6 p.m. 43 missed calls, 29 from him, 14 from unknown numbers. The voicemails from him ranged from angry to hysterical. "What the hell did you do? Why would you contact my mother? You had no right. Call me back right now." The voicemails from unknown numbers were different. His mother, calm but firm. "We need to talk, all 3 of us." His sister, furious. "You're a vindictive bitch." His father, surprisingly measured. "I'd like to hear your side of this." I called his father back first. "Thank you for calling," he said. "This is a mess, and I'm trying to understand what's true and what isn't." "Everything I sent is true," I said. "Those screenshots are from her public profile. The timeline is accurate. He told me he was staying at her place because her partner approved, but she doesn't have a partner. He's been lying about where he is and who he's with for months." "He says you're taking things out of context," his father said carefully, "that they're just friends, and you're making it seem like more than it is." Ask him about the hiking trip he said was solo. Ask him about the dinner he said was a work function. Ask him why her friends are commenting about them getting married if they're just coworkers. There was a pause. "His mother is very upset," he said. "She had no idea any of this was happening. He's been telling us everything is fine between you two." Everything was fine until he started lying. "What do you want to happen here?" he asked. "I want honesty. I want him to admit what he's been doing. I want to stop feeling like I'm insane for noticing something was wrong." "Fair enough," he said. "We're meeting tomorrow afternoon. All of us. His mother insists. Will you come?" I agreed. Update 2. The meeting was at his parents' house, a place I'd been dozens of times over 3 years. It felt different walking in this time, like hostile territory instead of the warm family gatherings I'd gotten used to. His mother answered the door, looked at me with a mix of disappointment and confusion. "Come in," she said. "He's in the living room." My boyfriend was on the couch, eyes red, tissue in hand. His sister sat next to him, arm around his shoulders, glaring at me like I was the villain in all this. His parents sat across from them. I took a chair by myself, felt like I was on trial. His mother started. We're here because there's clearly been a breakdown in communication and trust. I want to hear from both of you, calmly, about what's been happening. My boyfriend spoke first. His voice was shaky. She's been controlling and paranoid for months. I have a friend from work, someone I've been collaborating with on a major project, and she can't handle that I have a life outside our relationship. She went through my social media, screenshotted private moments, and sent them to my family to humiliate me. I almost laughed at the audacity. Private moments on a public profile. You had no right to involve my family, he continued. You had no right. You had no right to lie to me for months, I said. His father held up a hand. One at a time. Isabel, let her finish, then you can speak. I pulled out my phone and waited. Thursday night, I said when it was my turn. He told me he was staying at his coworker's place because her partner approved. I thought that was odd, but I trusted him. Friday morning, I found her social media. She's single, always has been. There is no partner. I scrolled and handed my phone to his mother. Then I found photos of them together that he never mentioned. A hiking trip he said was solo. A dinner he said was work-related but was clearly just the two of them. Comments from her friends treating them like a couple. I passed my phone around. His sister jumped in. So they're friends. So what? You're being insecure. If they're just friends, I said, why lie about the partner? Why hide the hiking trip? Why not tell me about the dinner? My boyfriend snapped. Because I knew you'd react like this. I knew you'd make it into something it's not. So you lied preemptively because you assumed I couldn't handle the truth? That's your defense? His mother leaned forward. Sweetheart, you did tell her there was a partner when there isn't one. Why would you say that? Because it sounds better than saying I'm staying at a woman's place, he said quietly. I didn't want her to worry. I leaned forward. Did you stay on the couch like you said? He hesitated, just for a second. But it was enough. Answer her, his father said. We both fell asleep on the couch watching TV, he said quickly. It's not what you're making it sound like. Were you in the same room all night? Another hesitation. She has a guest room. I slept there. The couch thing was just, we started on the couch. His father's expression changed. He looked at him like he was seeing someone he didn't recognize. So you slept over at a single woman's apartment, lied about her having a partner, lied about sleeping on the couch, and hid multiple outings with her over months. And you think the problem is that she's insecure? My boyfriend started crying harder. You're all ganging up on me. I haven't done anything wrong. We're just friends. Then why all the lies? His mother asked, the disappointment in her voice crushing even from where I sat. The meeting deteriorated from there. His sister kept defending him. His parents kept pressing for answers. I sat mostly silent as the truth came out in pieces. He admitted to staying over twice before, both times in the guest room. Both times he'd told me he was somewhere else. He admitted to developing feelings for her but swore nothing physical had happened. He admitted he'd been planning to break up with me eventually, but hadn't found the right time. Eventually, I repeated. You were going to string me along until when, exactly? I didn't know, he said. I was confused. I love you, but I also have feelings for her, and I didn't know what to do. You could have been honest, I said. You could have broken up with me before starting something with someone else. You could have done literally anything other than lie for months. He had no response to that. Update 3. I left his parents' house that evening with a strange sense of closure. His father walked me out, apologized on his behalf, said they'd talk to him about accountability and honesty. His mother hugged me and whispered that I deserved better. His sister sent me a nasty text that night calling me a manipulative bitch for airing dirty laundry to the family. I didn't respond. My boyfriend sent a long text around midnight. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But sending those screenshots to my parents was cruel, and you know it. You wanted to humiliate me, and you succeeded. I hope you're happy. I replied, I didn't humiliate you. You humiliated yourself by lying. I just provided evidence of what you'd been hiding. If you're embarrassed, that's on you, not me. He didn't respond. The next day I got a call from her, the coworker. I almost didn't answer. Hey, Isabel, she said, sounding uncomfortable. I think we should talk. About what? About him. About this whole situation. I didn't know you existed until yesterday. I went quiet. I'm serious, she continued. He told me he was single, said he'd gotten out of a long relationship about a year ago and was ready to date again. We've been seeing each other for about 3 months, pretty much since we started working together. She paused. Yesterday, he showed up freaking out, saying his ex found out we were hanging out and sent things to his family. I was confused, asked what ex, and he finally admitted you weren't an ex. You were his current girlfriend. She told you I was an ex? I asked. Yeah, Said the relationship ended badly. Said you were having trouble letting go, that you were kind of obsessive. I laughed, bitter and exhausted. None of that is true. I'm figuring that out now, she said. After he left, I started thinking about all the times he'd cancel plans or be vague about his schedule. I thought he was just busy. Now I realize he was juggling both of us. We talked for almost an hour, compared stories, filled in blanks. She'd been played just as much as I had. What are you going to do? I asked. I already told him I'm done, she said. I don't date liars, and I don't get involved in other people's relationships, even by accident. We ended the call on decent terms. Two women who'd been conned by the same man, comparing notes. Update 4. Over the next week, the fallout continued. Mutual friends took sides. Some believed his version, that I'd been controlling and he'd sought comfort elsewhere. Others, especially those who saw the evidence or talked to his parents, sided with me. I lost a few friendships. He tried to reconcile 3 times. First through text. Long paragraphs about how he'd made mistakes but we could work through them, how he'd cut off contact with her, how he wanted to fix things. I didn't respond. Second attempt was showing up at my house. I didn't let him in. Told him through the door we were done and to stop contacting me. He left a letter taped to my door. I threw it away without reading it. Third attempt was 2 weeks later through a mutual friend who agreed to mediate. I met with the friend and explained I had zero interest in reconciliation or closure or whatever he was seeking. I blocked him on everything after that. Phone, social media, email, complete cutoff. His mother called me once to check in. We had a good conversation. She apologized again for her son's behavior, said they'd raised him better than that they were as shocked as I was. I appreciated the call more than she probably knew. Final update. It's been 3 months now. I'm doing okay. Some days are harder than others. Moments where I remember something good about us and feel the loss. But mostly, I feel relief. Relief that I'm not being lied to anymore. Relief that I trusted my instincts instead of gaslighting myself into believing everything was fine. Last I heard, he and the coworker are not together. She meant what she said about being done. He tried to rekindle things with her after we ended, but she wasn't interested. Part of me feels bad for him. Not the lying, deceitful part, but the human part that clearly didn't know how to handle complicated feelings and made terrible choices instead of facing them honestly. But mostly I've moved on. Started seeing someone new about a month ago, taking it very slow, being very clear about expectations and communication. He's straightforward, doesn't play games, tells me when something bothers him instead of hiding it. I kept the screenshots, not to be vindictive, but as a reminder that I wasn't crazy, that my gut was right. Sometimes the person you love most is capable of elaborate deception. And sometimes sending one screenshot to the right person at the right time can save you months of continued lies. Sometimes you have to blow up a lie before it buries you completely. Her sister sent me an apology text last week. Said she'd been defensive because she couldn't believe her brother would do something like that. But after seeing more evidence and hearing him admit to more lies, she realized I'd been telling the truth all along. I appreciated it, but I didn't respond. Some bridges are burned for good reason. I still think about that text sometimes. Her partner is totally fine with it. Such a small lie, but it unraveled everything. If he'd just said, "I'm staying at a friend's place," I probably would have been fine with it. The addition of the fake partner was so unnecessary, so calculated. It revealed how comfortable he was with lying, how easily deception came to him. That's the thing that scares me most in retrospect. Not even the emotional cheating itself, but how effortlessly he maintained separate realities, how convincingly he played the victim when caught, how quickly he flipped the narrative to make me the bad guy for discovering the truth. I'm dating someone honest now, someone who doesn't make me question my sanity or second-guess my instincts, someone who understands that trust isn't blind faith, it's consistent honesty. And I learned that sometimes the truth doesn't come out because you demand it. Sometimes it comes out because you send one screenshot to the right person at exactly the right moment. Sometimes that's enough to collapse an entire lie. And sometimes that collapse is the only way you get your life back.